Hi, Mart here, and in today's video I'm gonna show you how to export animation in Krita, finally. Yeah, I kinda showed this in a last video about animation, but there's still a lot of confuseness about this and I didn't properly show the whole process of getting FFmpeg and stuff like that. So now I'm gonna make it more clear and go like step by step. So the first thing I'm gonna do is open the Krita docs site. By the way, the link is in the description below. And I'm just gonna go step by step by their tutorial because this is how you're supposed to do it. The first thing we have to do is to download FFmpeg. Because FFmpeg is the way how Krita exports files into MP4 or other video formats as GIF or stuff like that. So we need to get it on our system. So there's tutorial how to get it on each of the systems. First, Windows. That's actually the easiest one, I think. The only thing that you have to pay like attention to is the version of the system. If you have 64-bit or 32-bit architecture of your system, you need to download different files. So let's go to FFmpeg page for this. This is what you get when you get to ffmpeg.org. And now click on download, select your Windows, let's say. And now we can get to builds. The first thing you see is version. You either can use the like the newest version that's doesn't have to be really stable, but according to them it is stable, but it's like the newest version, or the real stable version, which is the below one. Then you select your architecture. I'm using 64-bit Windows, and then just linking. Keep this on static and just download FFmpeg. This should download this zip file for you. Your downloaded file that you downloaded from the website of FFmpeg, you know, the zip file, you need to unzip it somewhere. And in this folder, you have these few folders, and under the bin, there's a FFmpeg file right here. And this is what you need to know, like where this file actually is. It doesn't really matter where you export this folder with these files. Okay, so now when we know where this file is for Windows, we can move to another step. Okay, and this is how you do it for Windows. Now let's move to Linux. On Linux, it's actually quite easier because you don't have to like look up anything on the internet. You don't have to download anything actually. If you're using Ubuntu or other like, you know, really well-known Linux distribution, usually it's in default packages, so you just have to install it from those packages. The way how to do it is to open your terminal. On Ubuntu it's Ctrl-Alt-T and just write sudo, which means that you want to run this command as an administrator, and then apt-get install and FFmpeg. By the way, I will leave all the commands I'm gonna use in the description below, so you can just copy them and use them from there, and hit enter. Now you have to add your password. Don't worry, it will not show up anything, like the password actually writing in, but it will not show any like visual confirmation that you did it. As you can see, I already have installed the FFmpeg, so you will just hit enter and it will actually install the FFmpeg and you'll be fine. Now we can check if we have the FFmpeg by writing FFmpeg-version. And we can check that FFmpeg version 2.8 is installed on our Ubuntu, which is good. Okay, so now we know that we have the FFmpeg on our system. I will show this part only for Linux because it's pretty much easy on Windows, and I don't know, and I'm not Apple user, so I can't like test it on, you know, Mac for you, so sorry about that. I can only show you for Linux and Windows. But I'm guessing on Mac it's quite similar, so yeah. This should be applicable for Mac as well. Anyway, now we have the FFmpeg done. Okay, step 2, unzipping and linking to Krita. For Windows, how I said, unzip the package and rename just the FFmpeg. You don't have to really do this if you know where did you unzip it. And put this file onto easy find location. Go to C and place it there. You can put it wherever you want, but this is where I put it. Yeah, how I said, it doesn't really matter, but if you put it in some, I don't know, don't put it in like C/Windows or Win32, stuff like that, because they are not accessible for like outside software. So try to put it like somewhere when you can actually access it. So the C drive, the root of the C drive is actually a really good place for it. Now open Krita and go to File, Render Animation, click Browse button and call FFmpeg. Select this file. I will show you this real quick. Okay, for OS X, after downloading MPEG, you need to extract it by simply pointing it into FFmpeg location in Krita like this. I don't know. I'm not really sure how this works on Mac, so I'm sorry about that. For Linux, it should be installed under this location. So let's show this in actual Krita, okay? So let's open our Krita. As you can see, I've already opened my animation. You have to do it. Open your animation you want to export, okay? Otherwise, none of this will like work when you want to try it, okay? So you have to get some kind of animation going on already. So this is my animation. It's part of my intro. You probably saw it in the start of the video. Okay. And now I'm just simply going to File, Render Animation. And this is the window I have now. Okay. The first column here, the base name, is the, if you want to export it as a image, as a sequence of images, this is like the base name, and after this name there will be added 4-digit number with the frame number. It will start with 0 and go up to, I don't know, what is the maximum of the frames. I think it's few hundred, I'm not sure right now, sorry. The second is the file format, which is either Krita document or JPEG and all the other image formats. I'm using PNG for most of the time. Then render location, which is where you want to add the animation later, like when you want to export the animation. Now, first frame is, or what is your first frame and what is your last frame of the animation. This will give you like the range of the animation we want to export. For example, if you're doing some kind of animation and you want to export just a part of the animation, you can just add, I don't know, number 30 here, and the last frame is 60, so it will just render from 30 to 60, okay? But we want to render the whole thing from 0 to 60. Now, naming sequence starts with 0. This is really useful when you're actually doing something on parts. For example, if you're exporting animation, if you're first doing, I don't know, first 100 frames, and then in the other iteration when you're exporting second 100 frames, you can just switch this number to, for example, like 90 or something like that, or add 1 or something. It's like really good for this kind of thing. But what we really need to know, and this is the hard part that fails like a lot of times, is the render part of this. If you checkbox this render, it means that you actually want to export your animation into video. And now we can see what kind of video we can use. Either Matroshka file, which is MKV file, GIF, OGG video, or MPEG-4. MPEG-4 is classic MP4 file. It's just the probably most used file. So we're gonna stick with that. Now we have to name our file. Let's call it hand test render. And now we have to locate our FFmpeg. So let's try to locate our FFmpeg. This is the part that was on the website. So let's check it out back. And now we have to find our system. So on Windows, it depends where you export your file. So you just have to get into the folder that you exported and find bin and FFmpeg. So how I showed before, bin and the ffmpeg.exe. So this is what you need to find. On OS X, it looks like this. Again, I can't really test it to show you if it's actually working. So yeah. And for Linux, it's under this location. So usr/bin/ffmpeg. So let's go back to Krita and try to find the file. So as the tutorial said, we have to find the USR here. Now bin, and now we have to find FFmpeg. Here, see? Just open it. There are another few like options here. Include audio. This doesn't work on Linux for now. It works on Windows, but not on Linux right now. I'm not sure about the Mac and Apple, so sorry about that again. But this one is actually quite important. Delete sequence after rendering. So what it actually does is to render the image sequence first and then put it into FFmpeg and turn it into actual video. And if you want to like save those images after the FFmpeg turn them into video, and if you want to save them, you're not checking this box. And if you don't want to save them, if you just want the actual video and no images around, just hit this hitbox, okay? Let's say that we don't want to save them. Okay. And now we just need to hit OK. Yeah, frames with the same naming scheme exists in the destination directory. They're going to be deleted. Continue. This means that I already did this before, so yeah. If you see something like that, make sure you're not like deleting your frames from the other session or something like that. But yeah, this can be like fixed by just renaming the default name of the file, but it doesn't matter. I'm okay with that because I know that it's the same animation. So let's hit yes. Exporting frames. Here you can see the whole process. What it actually does is exporting frame by frame these whole 60 frames first, and then it will turn them into video. It's not like it's actually turning them into video right away. And now encoding frames, that means that it's turning the frames into video, and now is the whole process done. So now let's check it if the render was actually successful. So for it, we have to find the location where we rendered the file. For me, it was art, digital art, walk animation. For some reason, I put it here, and hand test render and we can check it if it's actually working. As you can see, it's actually video, and you can play it. It's only 4 seconds because, you know, the frame rate and everything. Okay, and this is how you export animation in Krita. However, this might not work for you. Especially, probably the rendering of the frames will work for you perfectly, but rendering into MP4 file might not work for you. Well, in that case, the FFmpeg is actually a standalone application that can like connect these images together without Krita, because Krita is just using this application like externally. It was just calling the application to do the work for the Krita, you know? So you can use it without Krita to glue the images together, and it might work this way better. For this, you have to run Krita in terminal or in some other command line on other operation systems. On Windows, it's quite complicated how to like actually run something in command line. That's why I don't really like Windows as it is. On Mac, it should be quite easy. It should be pretty much the same as on Linux. You just open your terminal, or I'm not sure how it's called there, and write a command down. For this, we have to get on this website. I have right here. I will leave this link in the description below so you can just find it whenever. And we need the command line for it. The first thing I'm gonna do in the command line is to get to our frames. For me, it's my destination for the frames is it's about here, I think. No, sorry. It's about here. I forgot to write CD. Now I'm in the destination. We can check if we are in. Now you can see all the frames I exported before. By the way, if you want export just frames and not the video, you just unhit the render option in render animation, and it will export just the frames, not the video. Okay, in this render location and stuff like that. Okay, but let's say that we already did it. And now we can get back to our command line. Okay, now we are in this directory and we can see all the frames. And we are on this website that we can see the actual command line for exporting the frames into MP4 file. So let's just copy this. And I will explain what the command actually does. The first is just calling the program FFmpeg, you know. The /r is frame rate, like rate, you know, R rate. The -r is the frame rate. So we have to change the frame rate to something more reasonable than 60. It depends on you, how, like, what is your like preference in frame rate and what is your like goal in frame rate. For me, it's 24 frames per second because, you know, you don't really need more for animation, or 30 if it's gonna be on YouTube, I guess. The F is format, which you should leave on image 2, but if you're interested in more of these commands, just go on ffmpeg.org and you can find everything, like about every command and everything like that. So you can just find what each command does exactly. The S is the size, which is the size of our frames, like, you know, of the picture. The first thing I will say, the size has to be dividable by 2. It has to be even number. Each of these, like, you know, each of these dimensions have to be even number, okay? Be careful about that, because if it's gonna be odd number, the render will just fail, okay? Okay, now the I command. This command has to find the files you want him to turn into videos. So you have to tell him like what kind of files you want, you know? So let's just check. Let's just tell him that your file is frame, starts with frame, because this is how we named the file, you know, frame. And now there are 4 digits and they are starting with zeros, okay? This will just say him that he has to take these, okay, only the first column, sorry. So he has to take these, 4 digits and starts with 0. So he will go here, 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 up until 0099, okay? And he will take these images and turn them into an MP4 file. The next one is a codec, which is quite common codec, X264. Now, CRF is the quality, the lower the better. I think it's a number something between 2 to 31. I think something about 20 to 15 to 25. It doesn't really matter for animation that much. But if you want more quality, you just go lower. Oh, sorry. You just go lower with CRF number. We can go, for example, 20. It doesn't really matter. Pix format. That's a pixel format. You can check this out again on the FFMPEG website, but I think you can keep this default one. It's quite okay. And the last one is the name of the file. For this one, we will just leave the test.mp4, but you can change this to whatever you want. For example, I know my first animation.mp4 or whatever. And when you have this all done, you can just hit enter. This will just run the whole process. You can see how it actually works and that everything went well. Now we can check if the render went well by again finding our destination where we exported this animation, which was the hand. And it should be down here somewhere. My first animation is 1.1 megabytes and it's exported animation. Okay. Well, I hope this video helped you at least a bit. I know it's quite complicated because, Krita is still in development and they are trying their best to get you the best experience. But, when you're working on so many platforms, there will be always some bugs and tweaks that they can't just catch right away. So please be patient with Krita and try to understand it more. And this is pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped and see you next time.